Right, today is the 23rd of September 2018. It's now around 11 a.m. and we are in Singapore at the Pomingsu Temple. I think we have enough time probably to do two suttas. Let's see how. We'll start with chapter 8 of SD 46. SD 46.8, the Catukka Nāga Sutta, the fourth discourse on the bull elephant. So here we see the word Nāga, which usually translates as serpent, but here is used for the royal elephant. Not just any elephant, but this is a special bull elephant, kind of a leader, the leading elephant and so on. And in that spirit, sometimes this word Nāga is also used for the arhats, in the sense that they are noble. Nāga also can, you can kind of grammatically look at it to mean no going, not going towards anything evil, anything bad, and so on. So here, once again, we see the Buddha's familiarity with the animals of his time, especially those that are of special value, special quality to the warriors. The elephants, as you know, are a very important part of the ancient Indian army. It was, in a sense, the elephants helped to protect India from even the advance of Alexander the Great. So today we have it's a reflection on four qualities of the bull elephant. There is an alternate title to this sutta. It's also called the Rāja Nāga Sutta, the discourse on the royal bull elephant. This is on the four qualities of a truly worthy monastic. So in other words, here the Buddha is talking about who really is a truly good renunciant. And in that spirit too, as lay practitioners, we can kind of look up to these qualities in the best way that we can keep to them as lay practitioners. Then there's another sutta, in very similar vein. It's called the Panchaka Sutta, which also talks about these qualities, but adds on another quality to make it 5. Now let's look at this sutta itself. It's from the Anguttara. So, but in this case, the Buddha explains in some useful detail what are the qualities we need to cultivate. The Catukka Nāga Sutta, the fourth discourse on the bull elephant, A4114. Okay, this sutta is a mirror sutta. In other words, it's neatly divided into two parts, two contrasting parts. First, you have the idea, the parable, the comparison, something worldly, something which people generally are familiar with. People will say, oh yeah, I know that. Okay, so the Buddha begins there. And then in the second part, so this first part is on the royal bull elephant parable. Then in the second part, the Buddha talks of the monastic or the renunciant with 4 worthy qualities. So you have something of the world, something of the spiritual. Let's look at the first part now. The sutta opens, verse 1. Bhikshus, a royal bull elephant that possesses 4 qualities is worthy of the king, of service to the king, and is reckoned as a limb or an emblem of the king. So the king is, the elephant is an emblem, royal emblem. Of course, of special significance is the albino elephant, or what we call the white elephant. They're very rare. So in Thailand, even today, there is this albino elephant that is one of the emblems of the king. Of course, in English, the saying a white elephant has a different tone. If we say something or someone is a white elephant, it's something very troublesome, something that needs a lot of care, more than it's worth, and so on. So this comes from the idea of the white elephant being the king's emblem. If this elephant should come into your village, then you have to really take good care of it. Anyway, here it is an ordinary elephant with 4 special qualities. Right, so what are the 4? What are the 4 qualities that makes this elephant special, a royal elephant, an emblem of the king? Here, bhikshus, the royal bull elephant is a listener, a destroyer, a forbearer, and a goer. So here, in such teachings, the Buddha carefully chooses a set of words which has 2 senses at least. So we see this kind of polysemy, in other words, a word with more than one meaning, a very common feature in Pali grammar and Indian literature. And this is what makes the Indian language flexible, very useful, very adept in philosophy, and of course spirituality. Some of the teachings of the mind, of the heart, can be quite difficult to explain in normal daily words. So the Pali, the Sanskrit, and so on are very flexible, and they help us to understand the various aspects of something, of a reality that is beyond language, beyond words. Right, so here the Buddha starts off with a thesis. He says, okay, this elephant has got 4 qualities. That is a listener, a destroyer, a forbearer, and a goer. Of course, those who are familiar with the suttas, they'll be very curious. Say, okay, we know an elephant listens and destroys and forbears and goes. But how does this work for a monk or for a renunciant? So you can see some people who are familiar with the suttas, they already think ahead and their attention is already captured. The curiosity is aroused. Right, so the Buddha mentioned these are the 4 things, and then the Buddha goes on to explain each of them one by one. The royal elephant that listens, section 2. And how, bhikshus, is the royal bull elephant a listener? Okay, here the Pali word is sota. Right, sota, the short sota means the ear, but here sota means listener. So just a change in sound from short to long also changes the meaning of the word from a faculty to an agent. In fact, this word sota forms the name of the next sutta, the next chapter, chapter 9. So when is this royal elephant a listener? Here, bhikshus, whatever task the elephant trainer gives it, whether it has done it before or not, the royal elephant is receptive, pays attention to it, fully directs its mind to it, and is with ready ear listens to it. This, bhikshus, is the royal bull. In this way, or thus, bhikshus, is the royal bull elephant a listener. So here, of course, in human terms, we would say this elephant is intelligent, meaning is able to respond, is able to understand instructions. That means it is willing and able to learn, and it can be used by humans. On this note, of course, you find humans have been training elephants for circus performances and so on. And for a while, we have this kind of performances in our local zoo in Singapore too. But I think some humanists, some humanitarian people have been complaining we should not exploit animals. So now the zoo keepers are kinder to the elephant, kind of taking good care of them, and only kind of encouraging them to do certain things which show their intelligence instead of being close up, maybe hitting them in some way to make them do things. So there's more respect for animals now, because now our human beings are becoming more aware that animals like elephants, they have a high level of intelligence, like dolphins too, and although the main difference is we have differences in language, but we can see how they can interact with us. So this is a very important aspect of humanity, the ability to connect with other forms of life. So here, this receptivity in a sense goes both ways, the animal for humans too. But here the Buddha is talking about the elephant. The elephant is receptive, is listener, is intelligent. Then number two, second quality, the elephant that destroys. And how bhikshus is the royal bull elephant a destroyer? Here the Pali word is hanta. Hanta can also mean a killer. There is a very interesting local Malay slang, which is hantam. Hantam means to actually, it's a slang for destroy. I'm sure it comes from the same root word. So hanta means it's a destroyer, a killer. Here bhikshus, when the royal bull elephant has gone into battle, it destroys elephant and mahout. In other words, it's able to attack other elephants and even attack once the elephant leader, the mahout, is taken down, then the elephant is kind of helpless. It destroys chariot and charioteer. It destroys the infantry. Right? So you have this very fierce war elephant. It's like a tank, if you like, in modern warfare. So this is a worldly quality. This elephant in war is a formidable weapon. This bhikshus is the royal bull elephant. Thus bhikshus is the royal bull elephant a destroyer. Now we come to the third quality of the royal bull elephant. Section 4. And how bhikshus is the royal bull elephant a forbearer? Here is kanta. From kanta you get the noun kanti, meaning patience. So how is he a forbearer? How is he able to withstand discomfort and so on? Here, bhikshus, when the royal bull elephant has gone into battle, it endures being hit by spears, by swords, and by arrows, and endures the noises and din of the beri, the conical drum, the cymbals, and conch shells, and the dindima. These are various drums. So these soldiers make a lot of noise to bring down the morale of the enemy, to frighten the animals, and so on. So this elephant is used to all this. So stand his ground, is very strong, and follows instructions of the king of its mahout. Thus, bhikshus is the royal elephant a forbearer. So he's able to withstand all kinds of difficulties. And now the last quality, number 4, the elephant that goes rightly. And how bhikshus is the royal elephant bull, or royal bull elephant, a goer? So here is ganta. Okay, ganta, one who goes. So here you see all these words are agent nouns, kind of people doing things. Here bhikshus, in whichever direction the elephant trainer sends the royal bull elephant, whether or not it has gone there before, it goes there. Thus bhikshus is the royal bull elephant a goer. So in other words, this elephant is willing and able to follow the instructions of the trainer of the mahout, so to climb up a steep hill or go down a kind of sharp incline, go into the river, and so on and so forth. So it's willing to go anywhere, it's brave, it's intelligent and able. A royal bull elephant bhikshus that possesses these four qualities are worthy of the king, of service to the king, and is reckoned as a limb, an emblem to the king. Right? So this is the four qualities of the royal elephant. Now the Buddha brings the teaching to a new level. He's going to talk about the worthy renunciant, the worthy practitioners, the monastic with four worthy qualities. In the same way, bhikshus, a monk who possesses four qualities is worthy of offerings, worthy of hospitality, worthy of gifts, worthy of salutation with the lotus palms. A supreme field of merit for the world. What are the four, right? So here the Buddha basically is saying a true monk who is worthy of support from society. Okay, here, of course, we have the same four qualities, but differently interpreted. First quality, the monk is a listener. And how bhikshus is a monk? A listener. Again, it's the same word, sutta. Here, bhikshus, when the Dhamma Vinaya, the teaching and discipline declared by the Tathagata, by the Buddha, is being taught, he is receptive, pays attention to it, fully directs his mind to it, with ready ear, and listens to it. This bhikshus, thus bhikshus is the monk, a listener, right? Here, of course, usually this kind of teaching would be given during the first 5 years of a new monk's life, Navaka bhikkhu. The proper training of a monk is that if you're a novice, you are temple bound. Okay, you don't go wandering around by yourself. You don't do things by yourself. You're under training. Then you become a monk, and the first 5 years as a monk are very crucial. They're very formative. I have said before, and I say again, if any monk fails to keep the 5-year nisaya, the first 5-year training as a monk, he's as good as a dead monk. He will not really be a good monk. Somehow he will lose his way. So these first 5 years are very important that he gets his proper training. So this is one of the things that he has to go through to listen to the teachings on the Dhamma and Vinaya. So this is called a listener, basically listening to Sutta teachings also, so that he understands the nature of true reality, he understands the life and ways of a monastic, of renunciation. It's the second quality, number 2, the monk who is a destroyer. And how bhikshus is a monk a destroyer? Hanta. Here bhikshus a monk does not tolerate any sensual thought that has arisen. He abandons, dispels, destroys, makes an end of it, brings to non-existence. He does not tolerate any thought of ill will that has arisen. He abandons, dispels, destroys, makes an end of it, brings it to non-existence. He does not tolerate any thought of violence that has arisen. He abandons, dispels, destroys, makes an end of it, brings it to non-existence. Thus, bhikshus is the monk a destroyer. So right here, he destroys the negative thoughts, the thought of sensuality, of ill will. The opposite of sensuality is ill will, and then violence is acting it out. So any of that thought arises, he pushes it away immediately. So this is kind of a basic training of the monk. He destroys negative thoughts. And number 3, the monk, the renunciant who is a forbearer. And how bhikshus is among a forbearer, kanta. Here, bhikshus among bears, heat, cold, hunger, thirst, the touch of mosquitoes, flies, the wind, the sun, and creeping creatures, endures the ways of words ill-spoken, unwelcome, and arisen bodily feelings that are painful, racking, sharp, piercing, repugnant, disagreeable, deadly. Thus, bhikshus is among a forbearer. Right? So, to be a monk, especially in the early days, there are a lot of difficulties because a monk lives in the open, in nature, and if he's sometimes, despite taking all the precautions, he still suffers from heat and cold, from the bites of mosquitoes. He might even fall sick in the jungle, so he has to learn to take care of himself. So, in the basic training of a monk, he is taught how to prepare simple medicine for himself. So here, the monk is not afraid of pain, in other words. He doesn't allow pain to turn into suffering. Or even if suffering arises, he's willing to bear it, to overcome it in time. So notice, it says, endures the ways, even sometimes when people criticize him, say nasty things, people are not happy to see monks in the village, for example. So all that he withstands. Now the last one is very interesting. It says deadly pain. So even if it comes to the point of nearly death itself, he's calm. And so this monk, he fears neither life nor death. So he's a true monk. So this is the monk who is a forbearer. Then quality number 4, this is the fourth quality. And how bhikshus is among a goer, ganta. Here bhikshus among arrives in those quarters where in this long journey he has never been before. Here again there's a very interesting play on words, right? He goes to where no one has been before. He's not afraid to try new territories of spirituality. That is to say, the stilling of all formations, the relinquishing of all substrates or acquisitions, the destruction of craving, the fading away of lust, the ending of suffering, nirvana. He himself quickly arrives there. Thus, bhikshus is the monk, a goer, right? So here, the Buddha used the word goer to mean this monk is progressive on the path. He moves on the path, doesn't get stuck, doesn't stay put, enjoying the benefits of donation and so on, living like a debtor, as they say, and giving excuses like, oh, it's difficult, impossible to attain nirvana in this life, and so on. If that's the case, we can always attain stream winning. It's not so difficult at all, especially for a monk. So here, this journey, this long journey, it's not afraid to take a new step, to move on. Then it comes to the stilling of the formations, right? So, sabba sankhara samatha. In simple terms, this refers to coming down all his thoughts, coming down all his action, coming down all his speech, learning to control them, learning to be at peace with himself. Then number 2, the relinquishing of all substrate. Here means whatever those things that keep us in samsara, right? Like karma, the 5 aggregates, sensual desire, mental defilements, all those things. Things that we keep on building up through craving, through ignorance. He works with that. He lets go of those things. Right? So the first line, you can say, talks of like karmic aspects, and then the second one talks more of spiritual aspects. Then the destruction of craving, right? So this is one of the roots of suffering. And the ending of suffering. So once craving is removed, ending is removed, and when that happens, nirvana arises. So in that way, he himself arrives. So there's a play on word here, beautiful play on word, arrives, meaning where? He has reached the goal, that's nirvana, so has attained nirvana. So in this way, the worthy monk possesses 4 qualities, and is worthy of hospitality, worthy of gifts, worthy of salutation with the lotus palms, a supreme field of merit for the world. So the sutta, and this first sutta ends there.